segment's being sponsored by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Join us in preserving and protecting Tennessee's wildlife. All right, guys, this next segment's being sponsored by our friends at Taylor's Archery. Y'all can find them at 100 East Lauderdale Street in Tullahoma, Tennessee, or y'all can give owner Tracy Taylor a call at 931-563-7706. And I'm going to tell you, he has got all kinds of Christmas specials going on. And if you need a Christmas gift for the outdoorsman in your life, go up there and see Tracy and the crew and let them take care of you at Taylor's Archery. All right, welcome back to the studio. Taking you guys along on a couple of great hunts tonight. One over in Hardeman County with you guys on a piece of private ground, and then one of my favorite public lands to go to. But, you know, Anthony, over where you and Duck are at, I know, Duck, you're in Humphreys. Is that
Haywood.
Haywood County. I knew it was an H, but where you guys are at, and unfortunately now, a large section of the state where you guys are at, you guys are suffering with CWD down there pretty bad.
Yeah.
We've seen some effects that we expected. We've seen some that we didn't really, at first think about, and now we're seeing them. But one of those things is, you hear about all these new regulations, and now you can shoot all these deer, and their rifle season's extended, and all this. So our deer numbers, they're our harvest numbers are way up, right? No, they're not, are they? You would think they were, but actually our deer harvest numbers are way down.
They're down bad. I mean, some people may not think it's bad, but I mean, for the whole state, Brandon, as of yesterday, the whole state's down 14.1%. The 12 county unit CWD is down 25%.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I'm mainly talking about like through the Tennessee Deer Hunter page, back when it was 75,000, everybody would always say, man, y'all are going to just be slaughtering the deer. And you and I talked about, and I said, unless you live in unit CWD, you really don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
Because if you go back to 2006 through 2010, we're killing 60% less deer than we did back then.
Yeah.
I mean,
major difference.
Just like Fayette and Hardeman County alone this year, we normally used to kill 5,000 to 6,000 every year. We're not even going to break 2,500 this year.
And Fayette alone, now they're probably down the most.
They're down the most in the state.
777 deer
That's
down right now.
And Hardeman County's down 577.
So, I mean, it is having a dramatic effect on the amount of deer harvest. So, we're kind of looking at, well, what is it? Are less people hunting? And I think that is a lot of what's going on, is you've got less people that are getting out, and it's for multiple reasons. Some of them are afraid of CWD, or, possibly, eating meat that might be positive with CWD. So you've got those people. You've got people that are just afraid they're going to do something wrong. There's so many new regulations, transport regulations that they have to deal with now. A lot of people are just afraid of that end of the deal. Some of them still think that we're down there just slaying all the deer, so they don't want to add to it. It just there's a lot of misinformation out there.
Anthony, when we did that meeting over there in Jackson that evening, several of the guys over there commented and made the comment that they weren't going to eat the deer. A lot of them said they were going to stop hunting because they were afraid to bring a positive deer home and eat.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, they said that night, Doug, just when you said that, several of them said that their wives had told them,
don't bring it home.
Don't bring it home.
Don't bring it home.
Because you may eat it, but our kids aren't going to eat it.
We had a spike in the sales of the hunting licenses the year before due to COVID. Everybody was out hunting. Yeah. Now the CWD is spreading so much, a lot of hunters are getting afraid and scared of it, I think.
That's right.
And to be cautious about it, I would say be cautious, but in the same sense, the rules and regulations are there for us to pay attention and do the right thing.
Yeah, and too, it's also important to keep people, reminded that there are many states out there that have dealt with CWD and had CWD for many years.
A lot longer than we have.
And it seems like the end of the world at first. It's no good. I mean, it's not like we want it, but it is here. It's not going anywhere. But you know, we need to stay calm, work along with the state the best we can, and just try to regulate it the best we can do, because it's not going to go away.
That's right.
And the last thing you need to do is just stop hunting over it. I mean, there's no, as a matter of fact, they need hunters right now more than they even have in the past. You know, especially down in those areas.
The sad part is there are some areas down there, Brandon, that you do not see a deer no more.
Yeah.
I mean, and people wouldn't, you know, they say, oh, you can't kill all the deer. And I've said that too. You know, you might not kill them all, but there are literally some farms that, I know a guy not far from me, they went like 13 months with 10 trail cameras out and never got the first deer picture.
Yeah.
And it was a farm that I hunted for many years.
Yeah.
And not a single picture.
It's you know, it's kind of, well, you said 25% down. That's just since last year.
Yeah, that's since last year.
That is a huge difference. You're talking about a 25% drop in 1 year.
Matter of fact, in the top 20 counties, it's only 2 counties that are positive for this year, and that's Cumberland County is up 56 deer, and Hamilton is up 19. Giles County is the number 1 county this year. So far, they've killed 2,457. Last year, it was 2,824. They're down 367.
Yeah, even in your top counties.
Yeah, and even Montgomery County, which, you know, Montgomery County is always a big one. You know, they're down 441 from last year.
Yeah. Well, I think it's having an effect statewide. But especially, of course, on you guys, you know, in West Tennessee, and I think it will continue to trend that way, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's important to stay in the know, stay in the woods. You know, keep getting your license, doing like you've been doing. You know, I do suggest having it tested. Absolutely.
Yes, I do too.
Have your meat tested.
I test mine.
I would not eat a deer that tested positive. That's just my opinion. Some people may.
Yeah.
I would not.
I killed a positive deer the other day. I did eat the back straps and the sweet meat off of it before I even got the results back.
Yeah.
You know, and speaking of the positives, this is what's kind of scary. 2 weeks ago, we were at, 3 weeks ago, we were at 25. And then 2 weeks ago, 77 positives. Last Tuesday, it was 120. Yesterday, it jumped to 204. And just Fayette has 112. Hardeman is 74. Madison and Haywood have 4 apiece. McNary and Shelby. McNary just went positive less than 10 days ago.
Yeah, they did.
Now they're up to 3. And then Weekly, Tipton, Henry, and Gibson, they all have 1 apiece. And Weekly went positive last week.
Yeah.
Or this week.
It's
new one.
It's still still growing, and we're obviously going to keep up with that as we go and keep everybody informed on what we're finding out. But right now, it is time to go over and do this week's tip of the week. This week's tip of the week is being sponsored by our buddy Wes Stone over at Cry Like Real Estate Services. Y'all can find him at 1432 West Main Street in Lebanon, Tennessee, or you can give Wes a call there at the office, 615-444-8200, and let him take care of all your real estate needs. All right, guys, well, for your tip this week, we're in a transition time right now in the deer woods. There's a lot of transition going on, and you know, whereas the deer have been on acorns really hard the last little bit, the does, you know, so to speak, they are now going to start coming back towards your green fields. Those food plots and things that y'all sweated putting in this summer, and you just hadn't had that bigger results out of them yet, you know, depending on what's planted, especially if you've got turnips or radish or something like that. This is the time of year you need to get back on those food sources, because their diets are changing. They're going back to these greens right now. Acorns are starting to run out, and they're getting back on these.
Too.
That's right, and we're starting to get back on these food sources. So that's your tip this week. You know, you've spent several weeks probably in the woods or chasing them around different areas. Get back to those food sources you put in this summer, and that's where you're going to find your does right now, and that's where you're going to find your late season bucks too. We're going to get ready to take another quick break, and we'll be right back here in just a minute with some more Southern Woods and Waters.